TikTok artist is getting sued for $850,000 after not clearing a sample, but that sample was from a bought sample pack.
Hey, keep doing your thing. We're going to get a cut either way.
DIY.
DIYers, maybe you've heard this song. I'm going to play a little snippet of it in hopes that we don't get flagged. May have to pitch it down, but check this out.
You don't really want to smoke, you ain't got that shit. I'm cruising down the block with a badass bitch. And with my mind on the chips and it's not on my head. Fuck then I dance, yeah, I'm finna take a trip. Nigga, you icy, I pull up and lay.
If you were on TikTok, I can guarantee you saw content. It was hundreds of thousands, if not millions of content that included this song by Trey Fuego called 9 on My Hip, 9OMH. And that song went supremely viral. Maybe some would argue a little bit too viral. Demiza, who is known to be a program director for a popular West Coast radio station, Power 106, a legendary radio exec, he talked about what happened to Trey Fuego and his song that did go viral, the one I just played for you. In this clip on Instagram, I want to get your reaction to it, because if this is the direction that major labels are going, especially as more artists are independent, it's going to get messy. Peep this out.
TikTok artist is getting sued for $850,000 after not clearing a sample, but that sample was from a bought sample pack.
Did you hear that? Trey Fuego, who we just played that snippet of, the producer of that song, used a sample from a bought sample pack from, I'm assuming, a producer or a sample pack company, and they included a sample that they did not clear or create, obviously, and now Sony is suing that gentleman for $800,000+.
So, my warning to you is, watch the samples. But, let me say this. Notice how it got to $850,000 before Sony sued. You know what I'm saying? Look, record companies right now, especially with this algorithm stuff and all that, they're watching you. You know what I'm saying? They want this to happen so that they can swallow it up. So they're going to let these things go a bit. And I guarantee you that this is not like a lawsuit and pay and it gets taken off the internet. Because with copyright infringement, what they're doing is leveraging their asset management. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes, keep it going. But I think the way this will happen is they will use the leverage of the copyright infringement to get their cut.
This is my warning to independent artists, especially those of you that have been watching this content and you know how much I champion being a DIYer, being an independent artist, having your team. Yes, we're in the independent age. We're in the direct-to-consumer age. It is exciting to be a part of this. However, when you choose not to play into their game, I took my music off of streaming some months ago now, and I have not been happier since because of the money that I'm able to generate from my music that I invest so much time, so much sweat, so much of my energy into. But when you choose not to play their game, you must be careful about the way that you conduct your business. They're waiting for you to slip up. Okay, fine. We tried to sign you, an up-and-coming artist. You don't want to sign with us? Fine. Let's see if there's one of our partners or a catalog that we own that you're infringing upon. Because if that's the case, hey, keep doing your thing. We're going to get a cut either way. I mean, honestly, taking the original sample, if you were unsure if it was made by a sample creator, take the sample in its original state, make a video, right? Upload that video to YouTube and just let it sit unlisted. Just to trace if that sample goes back to an actual person that created this music years and years ago. That would have alleviated the lawsuit that is now going to cost this gentleman $800,000 plus, and whatever that song chooses to do in the future.
So what they're going to do is sue, tell you to keep going, but now it's on Sony Entertainment and you get a regular artist deal. So you'll get your 12%, they'll get their other percent, and who won in the end? You broke a record for them. They made money twice. You made money 12 cents on the dollar.
Sheesh.
This is great. This is classic record company leverage stuff, but watch your samples. Just be careful.
Did not tell you.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
They're not worried about whether or not you want to sign to them. They know that if you're not going to conduct your business the way that you should, in terms of making sure that all of your I's are dotted, all your T's are crossed, and you're not doing things in a legal matter, they got the best legal team that money can buy. If you don't want to play ball with them, they're waiting for you to slip up. It's crazy how they're aggressive so much towards the artists. And I haven't even heard of whether or not they're this aggressive with the producer or the distributor. I want you to peep game on this one. This is an article from a very popular website called Music Business Worldwide. Legitimate website. They do a lot of articles that speak about the music business and things that are happening. We reference them all the time. Here's what they said. Sony Music just secured a monetary win after suing an individual artist in a U.S. court. Sony sued Trey Fuego over his track, Nine on My Hip, which went viral on TikTok and racked up over 170 million streams on Spotify before being removed from the latter platform in 2022. Nine on My Hip was based around a sped up, aka modified, sample of the 1986 track Reflections by Japanese composer Hinata. Sony represents both the recorded music and music publishing for Reflections. Trey Fuego must now pay Sony just over $800,000 in damages, according to a judgment from a Texas court. This judge in the case noted that the oddness of an individual artist being sued for copyright infringement by a multinational corporation, stating that while some may query the wisdom of pursuing a claim against a relatively small fish, that didn't render Sony's motivation improper or their lawsuit unreasonable. In layman's terms, they don't give a shit that you're a small dog. You want to play with the big dogs? You want to use our samples? You don't want to let us get a piece of the pie? Cool. We'll do it through legal means. For me, however, the biggest significance of this case isn't who Sony sued. It's who it chose not to sue. Written in the small print of the damages ruling against Trey Fuego, it was revealed that DistroKid was responsible for distributing Nine on My Hip onto streaming services. DistroKid, which was not named as a defendant in the suit, now has to pay a $14K chunk of Trey Fuego's damages to Sony, representing royalties generated by Nine on My Hip that the DIY distributor hasn't yet paid out to the artist. There are going to be people who are going to ask, well, why should the distributor be on the line? Well, first of all, they're accepting your money in good faith as an artist. Also, here's my personal opinion. If you're going to offer the option for somebody to use your platform and to also put Content ID individually on their songs to see if somebody else uses it, you probably should have something in place, some kind of partnership with a Google that allows the songs that get uploaded to go through that process of being approved first. Since there's an approval process to begin with, who the hell knows what happens in that process? I'm sure there's a lot of things that need to happen to deliver your songs to these different stores. But fam, why is that not something that's already embedded when you pay whatever money that you pay per year to have this service? How do they just get off the hook entirely? That $14,000 that they just said that's going to be paid out, that's money that would have went to Trey Fuego, not DistroKid's money. That's the money going straight to this Sony situation. These are concerning times. But it's not a time to be loose with your business, DIYers, independent artists. If you're going to play this, if you're going to do business, realize when you get out here with these big boys, you cannot play business. You got to actually do your business and make sure that your shit, your P's and Q's are taken care of. That being said, the topic of sampling got brought up on this new interview with Schoolboy Q and Danny Brown. And Danny Brown talks about how him literally just saying certain words in a certain way on a hook taxed him for years when it came to a song with one of his biggest songs in his catalog. I feel like if this is how they were doing years and years ago, now that more artists are going independent, they're going to get even more aggressive. Even Schoolboy said he had some issues with some samples that he had to get replayed. Check this out.
We had to get
Makes sense.
We had to get the sample replayed though.
Oh yeah, man, they did me like that too. They made me do all type of shit for this sample. They made me fucking write some traditional Japanese shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
What you mean?
Like they made, I don't exactly what the fuck you mean. That's what I was saying. Like, how come I can't just do the shit, give you the percentage, and keep it going? They like wanted me to do all type of shit. It's like, damn, y'all like trying to like. They just want you to do shit.
So did you replayed it or you kept the sample?
No, we kept the sample.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I was
but
like, fuck that.
Now they like want like every dollar from that. I'm like,
yeah, no,
golly,
that shit
like,
killed me. Yeah. Fucking with Dip, Jay-Z and Kanye killed my ass. They own that whole motherfucker. That was like one of my biggest songs. I don't get shit from that motherfucker. I'll never use a nigga hook again, man. I learned my lesson, man.
Real, bro.
Yeah, Skyler be mad at me to this day. Like, man, that was one of the biggest ones, man. We fucked up. Cause you know he made that beat
Yeah,
we don't
motherfucker.
get shit from that.
$300 for that motherfucker.
My question is, why do we find ourselves in a situation where it all falls on the responsibility? And I'm not trying to get this artist to not take accountability for using an uncleared sample, or their producer for doing that. You can't do business like that. Not nowadays. And you shouldn't have to, especially when you have access to websites like Splice and apps like Arcade that allow you to have access to all these samples. You shouldn't have to. Now, with even the emergence of AI, I don't know if any of you have thought about using some of that AI generated stuff as a way to generate samples for yourself to chop up that say the lyrics and the words that you wanted to say. Like, there's way too many options to still be writing dirty. But I understand, as a sample-based producer myself, there's a certain texture in sampling that is hard to capture through any other means except for going straight from vinyl, except for going straight from the source. Well, then I suggest something like a TrackLib. TrackLib now has made it even easier for you to get those samples cleared and go about your business, get the splits right, and do business the right way.
Nah, and I'm still not content till I'm dominating every single continent. My shit go stupid, you don't think, then use your common sense. I DIY and I know that I'm a product. When they play the new king, all the DIYs go crazy. All the DIYs go crazy. When they play the new king, all the DIYs go crazy. All the DIYs go crazy.
Speaking of AI, this is something that's semi-related, but I think it's worthy of bringing up because a lot of us have a lot of concerns about the future of sampling, how AI will play a part in all that. And in the midst of this, Jermaine Demarcus said something that he feels like is a bigger concern. He uploaded this video April 16th and says, "As a true songwriter, musician, producer, I don't understand. Can someone tell me why? Hashtag new tech, hashtag AI." Shout out to C12 for tagging me in this. Check this out.
What up, y'all? So today, I got a question. I know, it's gonna have niggas mad at me and all that. I don't give no fuck about that. But anyway, this question is like, why do we keep having or keep allowing people from different backgrounds, people from different walks of life, different businesses and all that shit come in our business, the music business, and disrupt our business, and then tell us that this is what we should be doing, and we start moving by their rules.
Good point.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Good point.
I ain't understood this for a long time. If y'all been following me for a long time, y'all know when I started Global 14, this was one of the things I was talking about back then. So this ain't no new shit. I've been saying this. It's starting to be more apparent now, and it's the same reason that Lucian finally pulled the plug on fucking TikTok. Right, but you should have been did that. You know what I mean? And I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why we keep allowing this shit to happen. So, fast forward, my friend Chris Lyons, who was a So Def alumni, so he's my guy. But I don't agree with this, Chris. And he sent me this thing about this new company called Udio.
Yeah, we talked about Udio. Actually, last week we talked about Udio and how crazy the technology is and how believable it is for those who don't have an ear for picking out certain details. I show some of these songs that are generated on this website. My mom don't know the difference, and she's been playing music for over, 40 odd years. But because of the way that they're rolling this out, who they're rolling it out to, there's a lot of us that have kind of been prepared for this in a lot of ways. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they were putting out test runs of AI-based music just to see, even if it's an AI-based verse. That's what I would do as a soft rollout. I would just basically let's do this chorus to be AI. Let's see if they recognize any differences in it. And the more that you're able to get away with, well, the more that they'll do. But that website, as crazy as it is, the way that they present themselves, as Jermaine Demarcus is going to talk about, is even more concerning.
It's got to be UDO. And their mission statement says, "This is the latest tech seeking to turn anyone and everyone into a musical virtuoso." Why? Like anyone and everyone?
Let's look this up. A music virtuoso, in this Google search, says it is an individual who possesses outstanding talent and technical ability in a particular art or field, such as fine art, music, singing, playing a musical. Outstanding talent and a technical ability. But Udio just said, "Hey, fam, turn you into a virtuoso with just one prompt. You don't see that as problematic? But I'm going to let him finish this off.
That to me is so disrespectful to niggas that's been playing music their whole life.
Talk about
that take piano lessons, keyboard lessons, whatever, guitar lessons. And we're allowing a company of people that are probably not musicians, that don't give a fuck about musicians, to say we making an app so everybody and anybody can make music and be a music virtuoso. That's the word they use. I don't agree with this shit. And I just want to know why, man. I think it's crazy. And I don't understand. You don't do this to the NBA. They don't do this to football. They don't do this to no business. Because the business don't allow this shit to happen. Why do we keep doing this?
Yes, someone brought this up here. I'm going to go ahead and search this out too. Let me see if I can find Pound Town Soul. That sounds insane.
I'm out of town thugging with my rhymes. My coochie pink and my booty hole.
Is that right, Grandma?
Yeah, I'm looking for the hole. Where they at? Come suck a bitch too. Take me to Pound
Grandma.
Take me to Pound Town.
I know they was getting freaky back then, but I would much rather not even imagine these type of things. DIYers, as exciting as this time period is, because it's probably the best era that we've ever seen, the most access, the most freedom, right? I think, and I saw somebody make this quote. I'm not sure what their name was, but they were saying that I think most artists, most music producers, they champion being independent because of the autonomy, because of the freedom that we have. And I can agree to that, right? It's a lot of work. It's a huge responsibility on your shoulders, especially when you elect to do it the right way. There's a lot of terminology that is confusing to go through, right? As I'm even learning about generating my own ISRC codes and, registering codes and all these different things that are going along with it. Thankfully, I have the help. Shout out to Samara, an amazing attorney. But thankfully, I also have access to AI or ChatGPT, right? It's a tug and pull sometimes, right? Like I can't be 1,000% angry at AI because I see that there's things that it's actually helping me in my independence. However, there are some things that are very concerning about this and about the identity theft, the opportunity to try to level the playing field. It's almost like you watch these major labels, for example, championing the AI, because in the same way that the internet leveled the playing field to a certain degree for independent artists and the reach that we can have through our social media, this labels their access to creativity. Nasty work. I still will always elect for a human being over this madness, but here we are. We're all laughing at the flips, the songs from an audio, and it's great entertainment, but it's also very concerning. But I wouldn't be discouraged by it. I think what it's going to actually do, and I've been saying this from the very beginning of all this AI shit, I think it's going to push our creativity. I think that it's going to create hybrids out of folks who utilize, not depend on, not lean all the way in, who utilize this to expedite parts of their process, parts of their creative process that would have took so much longer in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s, right? There have been advancements in technology, from going reel to reel to going into having a digital audio workstation or having multi-channels. Like, we've seen the evolution. It's going to happen. It just happens to be packaged up with the title called AI. There will be some good things. There are going to be some concerning things, some scary as shit things. And I'm witnessing all of them at the same time. However, one thing that cannot be compromised is your professionalism if you're going to conduct business in this environment, because it's easier to find those of you that are riding dirty. These labels are looking for you. They got Trey Fuego. He's not even a name that I knew the song before I even knew the artist. Never even looked his music up. They got him for $800,000. And I'd never heard of the sample. I imagine that it's somewhat abstract to the general population. Maybe it was huge back then. I don't know. I was only a year old when I came out. But if it's like that with that, can you imagine what it's like with more popular samples like from the Beatles, which you never want to sample from? Do your business solid and just know that the internet is always watching. Maybe not necessarily to strike a deal with you, but them boys is watching, because maybe they want to get in your pockets as well. Those are my thoughts, though, DIYers. You let me know what you think. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Don't get greedy. Peace.